For years, NASA has been devoted to discovering the reality of extraterrestrial life. Numerous researchers speculate that Mars, being relatively close, could be the location where this life may exist. It is widely speculated that this planet could have been inhabited by a civilization that has long since disappeared and which might have flourished similarly to those on Earth. On July 25, 1976, one photograph led many to believe that the theory about this civilization could finally be proven. A NASA scientist was analyzing images of a specific region of Mars known as Cydonia. While studying the images, he noticed something peculiar that caught his attention. Upon closer inspection using a magnifying glass, he discovered a structure in the shape of a human face on the surface of Mars. The structure was huge, measuring approximately a mile wide and showed distinct features such as 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth. Additionally, there were surrounding structures in the form of pyramids and other unnatural-looking shapes. The following day, NASA held a press conference where they showcased thousands of photos taken from Mars. However, the primary focus of the conference was the face structure, and everyone wanted to know more about it. People speculated that it could be a message from an advanced civilization that no longer existed. They wondered if it was solid like the Great Sphinx or contained chambers like the Great Pyramid. However, NASA quickly dismissed these speculations.
Isn't it peculiar what tricks of light and shadow can do? When we took another picture a few hours later, it all went away. It was just a trick, just the way the light fell on it.
Except that this second photograph does not exist. So, this led us to the question, why is NASA hiding the truth about these photographs? Did NASA find proof of advanced civilization on the Red Planet? During a space subcommittee hearing, a U.S. congressman asked this question directly to the NASA panel.
Can I ask permission for 1 minute for this question? And that is, you have indicated that Mars was totally different thousands of years ago. Is it possible that there was a civilization on Mars thousands of years ago?
So the evidence is that Mars was different billions of years ago, not thousands of years ago.
Well, yes.
There is no evidence that I'm aware of that.
Would you rule that out? That see, there's some people. Well, anyway,
I would say that is extremely unlikely.
As technology improved, and with the space race between the US and USSR in full swing, getting close-up photos of Mars became a top priority. In 1965, the Mariner 4 probe flew past Mars and sent back 22 images. While the first images of Mars were exciting, they were also disappointing, revealing no vast cities, canals, or any evidence of an ancient culture. Mars looked like the moon, harsh, barren, pockmarked by meteors, and completely lifeless. However, as technology continued to improve, the idea of life on Mars became less far-fetched. Although Mars is cold and barren now, it may not have always been the case. In the past, Mars might have had conditions that were more conducive to life. The planet previously had vast oceans of water that flowed into rivers and lakes. It had a thick atmosphere that kept the surface warm, and it even had volcanic activity and a global magnetic field, just like Earth. In short, Mars was once a blue planet with all the ingredients necessary to support life. Based on the analogy with Earth, it is conventionally expected that Mars developed microbial life when it lost its atmosphere. There is even a belief that the development of intelligent life on Mars could have occurred twice as quickly as on Earth, which could have led to the existence of a highly advanced civilization on the planet billions of years prior to human existence on Earth. In 1975, NASA launched 2 spacecraft, Viking 1 and Viking 2, to explore Mars. It was Viking 1 which was able to get a photo of the controversial photo face on Mars. During the planning for the landing site of Viking 2, the Cydonia region was the leading contender. The terrain was flat, the visibility was good, and there were interesting rock formations to explore. However, a few days after the release of the famous Face on Mars photo, Viking 2 ended up landing in a barren rocky region called Utopia Planitia. Some scientists working on the mission complained that this was like landing in the Sahara Desert and expecting to find a garden. This prompted the question of why there was a last-minute change to the landing site. Is there something going on in Cydonia that NASA doesn't want us to see? Usually, monuments are not built in isolation. Just like the pyramids found in Egypt or Central and South America, they were part of sprawling complexes of buildings, town squares, and temples. If an ancient culture living on Mars created a monument of a humanoid head, we would expect to see other structures close by, and that's exactly what we see. There's a cluster of pyramids near the face that people call the City Square. Near those is an object nicknamed the Fortress, which appears to be a collapsed pyramid. There's also a formation called the D&M Pyramid, named for NASA imaging scientists Vince DiPietro and Greg Molinar. The D&M Pyramid is a massive 5-sided, 1.5-mile tall structure, which is 3 times the size of the largest pyramid in Egypt. What's really interesting about the D&M Pyramid is that it's symmetrical around 2 different axes. It's easy to dismiss these findings as nothing more than a coincidence. However, a professional satellite imaging specialist named Errol Torin started looking into it. He worked for the Defense Mapping Agency, and his job was literally to analyze satellite images and decide which objects were natural and which were artificial. He said that all the objects, including the face, were not of natural origin. But the D&M Pyramid really blew his mind. This object's 5-sided shape and bilateral symmetry are unlike any landform seen to date in this solar system. As more photos came back from Mars over the past 50 years, strange objects were discovered in the area. Thousands of images have been collected, and if one looks through them, all sorts of things that look out of place can be found. A mathematical specialist found various relationships between objects in the area. There is an almost perfectly rectangular monolith that stands extremely tall, and another that is over 10 miles high, towering above even the largest aeroplanes. There's also an object called the Shipwreck, because it looks like the remains of a boat. One wonders whether it's an ancient craft or the foundation of a structure. In May 2022, the Curiosity rover found a doorway carved into the rock face, and giant tracks on the surface that make one wonder what kind of machine could have made them. Some objects don't look like natural rock formations at all, such as the Martian totem pole, which is very strange and couldn't have been formed by erosion. A picture taken by Curiosity in 2015 shows something hanging onto the cliffs, and there's a dome or the top of a sphere in another image. These structures were famously called glass worms by Arthur C. Clarke, a science fiction writer of 2001, Space Odyssey. In addition, there's an imprint that looks like a valve or a gear, which was taken with the Opportunity's microscopic imager. Could this be the imprint left by the piece of an ancient machine? There's also a saucer-shaped formation or structure that stands out from the surrounding landscape, taken by the Mars Global Surveyor in the year 2000. A blogger named David Martinez made a discovery of a complete settlement on the Red Planet, which he referred to as Biostation Alpha. Martinez's deduction was that this was the upper portion of an underground bunker where Martians could be concealing themselves, similar to covert facilities on Earth. These are just a few of the anomalies found on Mars. In 1993, NASA launched the Mars Observer, the first mission to Mars since the Viking days. Surprisingly, NASA was not planning to include a camera on the mission, but an uproar from the public forced them to include one. The new camera was expected to be good enough to finally put an end to the debate about the face and the pyramids in Cydonia. However, the reality was somewhat different, as the mission encountered technical difficulties shortly after launch. Communication with the spacecraft was lost, but observers took this with a grain of salt. In fact, some claimed they were getting leaked information from NASA insiders. According to the leakers, the Mars Observer was still out there and running just fine. In fact, it was taking pictures of the face and all kinds of other weird objects on Mars. But even if NASA had those pictures, they couldn't show them publicly, especially if they showed the face was an artificial construction. In 2019, retired NASA scientific director Dr. Jim Green made some public statements claiming that it is most likely that the European Space Agency had already discovered evidence of extraterrestrial life on Mars. He summed up the reason why space agencies are hiding it from us. Humanity, as we know it today, is not ready for such information. It will take much longer for humanity to come to terms with the fact that life does exist outside of Earth after all. In August 2012, the rover landed on Mars and began analyzing samples from the planet's surface. NASA scientists expected to find heavily oxidized iron in the soil, which they did. However, they were surprised to discover evidence of a massive nuclear war in the form of xenon-129. Chemical analysis showed that the top layer of Martian soil contains a large amount of this isotope, which is only created by the detonation of nuclear weapons. Over 1,000 nuclear tests have been conducted over 70 years on Earth, and every nuclear explosion leaves behind small traces of xenon-129. The amount of this isotope found in Martian soil is 2.5 times higher than on Earth. Dr. John Brandenburg, a former NASA physicist and well-known Mars researcher, believes that a humanoid civilization lived and died on Mars. He discovered 2 hotspots on Mars, Cydonia Mensa and Galaxias Chaos, where radiation levels are higher than anywhere else, and between those hotspots is Cydonia, the location of the face, the pyramid, and other structures. The dating of the isotopes places the explosions between 150 and 300 million years ago. A nuclear explosion of this magnitude could provide the answer to how Mars lost its atmosphere. There are several theories about who detonated the nuclear weapons, including the possibility that a more advanced civilization destroyed Mars. At the time of the event, the most advanced creatures on Earth were reptiles, and dinosaurs hadn't even evolved yet. It's possible that whoever destroyed Mars ignored reptiles as they posed no threat. Another theory is that intelligent life on Mars reached a level of technology advanced enough to destroy themselves in a nuclear apocalypse, and a small group of these humanoids managed to escape. The Martians that managed to escape could have been our ancestors. Well, that's an intriguing idea to think of.
Imagine a mysterious object floating in the darkness of space, silently observing our planet for countless years. This is the story of the Black Knight satellite, a captivating enigma that has been the focus of attention for conspiracy theorists and UFO enthusiasts for decades. Who created the Black Knight satellite? Where did it come from? And what does it want? The answers to these questions remain elusive, leaving us to wonder and imagine the possibilities. Join us on a journey to uncover this mysterious object orbiting our planet. Observed and documented by people from all over the world, the Black Knight satellite has become the subject of much speculation and intrigue. The prevailing theory is that this thing is like a sort of silent sentinel in space. Some believe it to be an alien spacecraft sent from the depths of the universe to observe our civilization, while others claim it's a government cover-up, shrouded in secrecy by those in power. The mysterious origins of the moniker Black Knight satellite remain shrouded in uncertainty. Despite efforts to trace its source, the sudden emergence of this reference remains a puzzle. However, it's widely believed that the origins of this mysterious object can be traced back to the 1950s, when strange signals were picked up by ham radio operators and leaked reports revealed that Air Force scientists were tracking an unknown object in Earth's orbit. The U.S. government was greatly worried at the time, as satellite technology didn't even exist, and the first Earth-based satellite, Sputnik, wouldn't be launched for another 3 years. In 1954, a popular newspaper in the U.S. wrote about a man named Donald Cahoe. He was a famous UFO researcher and ex-military, and he claimed that there was an object orbiting the Earth that was not made by humans. Over the years, multiple eyewitness accounts from astronomers, including the Smithsonian Observatory at Harvard, have only added to the mystery of the Black Knight satellite. Jacques Vallée, a French astronomer, had a once-in-a-lifetime experience when he observed, tracked, and even photographed a mysterious satellite. His findings were eye-opening and showed several peculiarities. Firstly, the Black Knight satellite was in a polar orbit, which would give it the capability to observe all parts of the Earth's surface. This type of orbit was perfect for viewing everything, but there were no known Earth-based satellites at that time. Secondly, the object was massive, the size of a tanker truck, and too heavy for any rocket on Earth to carry. Vallée was thrilled with his discovery, and along with his team he compiled all the evidence and presented it to his supervisors. However, the materials were promptly taken away and destroyed. Despite this, Vallée remains steadfast in his belief of the existence of the Black Knight satellite, even though he didn't believe in extraterrestrials prior to his discovery. The most famous source of this satellite were the several photographs taken by the crew of the Space Shuttle Endeavour in 1998 during the first Space Shuttle mission to the International Space Station. The images show a dark object in orbit around the Earth. After reviewing the photographs, NASA claimed that the mysterious object was simply a thermal cover that had broken free from the space station during construction. But given the bizarre shape of the mysterious object, there are many people who find that explanation a little hard to believe. Instead, they claim that the images are evidence of an extraterrestrial craft in Earth's orbit that is known as the Black Knight satellite. Although some of the evidence is questionable, there are still many unanswered questions surrounding the Black Knight satellite. Eyewitness accounts from reputable astronomers, scientists, and pilots add to the mystery and suggest there is more to the story than what is being told. The purpose of the Black Knight satellite is still unknown. Some theories suggest it is operated by an extraterrestrial intelligence to monitor humanity or influence human events, with the ultimate goal of making contact or preparing the way for an invasion. If Earth is being monitored, it makes sense for a satellite to be placed in orbit to gather information about us and send it back to the aliens' home world. This is similar to what we're doing with our space program and missions to Mars, orbiters, and probes at the edge of the solar system. Others believe it could be technology left behind by our own ancestors millennia ago, hidden by an ancient advanced civilization that has since been forgotten by history. Multiple ancient texts describe a dark object orbiting the Earth, which was put there thousands of years ago. The Black Knight satellite remains a mystery, lost in orbit, and it remains to be seen if it is a lurker from another galaxy, or just another space junk.
Despite our achievement in reaching the moon, our exploration of the extensive depths beneath our feet is still in its infancy, merely scratching the surface of our planet. Our understanding of the galaxies far beyond in the universe surpasses our knowledge of the depths beneath the Earth's surface. Take this as an example. Voyager 1, a renowned satellite, took 26 years to venture beyond our solar system. Yet in a similar span, we've only managed to explore a mere 12 kilometers into the Earth's surface. This prompts us to ask, what mysteries lie concealed in the very depths of our planet? Let's start our story with the Kola Superdeep borehole, the deepest hole ever dug by mankind. Its depths were so immense that there were rumors of workers hearing chilling echoes similar to screams from the depths of hell. In fact, it is believed that this was the real reason why the project was abandoned. The origin of this project is truly fascinating. During the space race, while the US and Soviet Union competed for supremacy in space exploration, a lesser-known competition unfolded between their top drillers. In the late 1950s and early 1960s, both Americans and Soviets devised separate plans to drill as deeply as possible into the Earth's crust. An outer layer stretching from 30 to 50 kilometers in depth out of the Earth's total 6,730 kilometers to the core. The Americans initiated this effort with Project Mohole, located off the Pacific coast of Mexico. Its objective was to extract a sample of material from the Earth's mantle by drilling a hole through the Earth's crust to reach the Mohorovicic discontinuity, known as the MOHO. Unfortunately, financial limitations led to its premature termination in 1966. Nevertheless, it provided a vital groundwork for future offshore drilling projects. On the other hand, the Soviets achieved greater success, thanks to the strategic planning of the Interdepartmental Scientific Council for the study of the Earth's interior and super-deep drilling. Their drilling efforts on the Kola Peninsula, spanning from 1970 to 1994, gradually excavated to set a groundbreaking record at the time, the world's deepest hole. Located in the northwestern part of Russia on the Kola Peninsula, which is adjacent to Norway and Finland, this hole reaches a depth of 7.5 miles, delving into 1/3 of the Earth's crust. Here's a fascinating tidbit. It's so deep that if someone were to fall in by chance, it would take 3 minutes to reach the bottom. However, there's no need to worry. The likelihood of such an occurrence is nearly impossible due to the hole's narrow width, only 23 centimeters, roughly the size of an average shoe. Numerous peculiar anecdotes surrounding this project contributed to its heightened controversy. One of the reports indicated that as the drill penetrated a cavity within the Earth's crust, it experienced a malfunction. Upon retrieval, the drill was observed to be glowing intensely in a red-hot state. Several workers involved in the drilling corroborated that the rope broke multiple times, seemingly pulled downward by an unseen force. However, the most contentious version of events came directly from the project's own leader, Viktor Azakov. When they reached a depth of 12,262 meters, they employed a specialized microphone to capture the sounds emanating from within the Earth. Instead of encountering the anticipated sounds associated with the Earth's geological activities, what they heard resembled human screams. Although Azakov did not hold religious beliefs in heaven or the Bible due to his communist ideology, as a scientist, he perceived this occurrence as a glimpse into something akin to hell. Initially, they attributed the noise to the drilling rig's operation, but upon thorough examination, they discerned that it resembled the anguished screams of countless individuals. A substantial number of the team quit immediately, profoundly disturbed by the idea that they might have captured the cries of tormented souls and their demonic oppressors. The remaining members endeavored to formulate a scientific rationale for the recorded phenomena, but they were unprepared for what followed. On the subsequent night, an immense column of fire and smoke erupted from the borehole. Upon emerging, laborers asserted that it assumed the likeness of a bat or a demon before them, inscribing the words, "I have conquered," across the sky. This event took place in the year 1989. Upon receiving word of the incident, medical staff were sent to the location. They administered sedatives, pain relievers, and other drugs to the traumatized staff, purportedly causing a temporary loss of their memory regarding that harrowing night. Following Azakov's demise and the collapse of the USSR, it was said that his grandson discovered a copy of this remarkable recording. This discovery is what brought the sounds from hell to the attention of the public. Nevertheless, specialists who examined the clip contended that it merely consisted of looped sound effects from the 1972 film Barren Blood to achieve the eerie effect. The depths of our planet remain largely uncharted, leaving us with incomplete knowledge of its interior. However, nearly every ancient civilization holds stories or allusions to the inner domains of the Earth, along with civilizations or inhabitants residing within its core. Many narratives describe these locations as purgatories where departed spirits reside, rather than thriving societies in the present. The Greeks mentioned Hades, Christians referred to it as hell, and in Judaism, it is known as Sheol. This idea, hinting that hell might be under the ground, possibly at the center of the earth, comes from Bible verses like Luke chapter 10, verse 15. "And thou, Capernaum, which art exalted to heaven, shalt be thrust down to hell." Psalm chapter 63, verse 9 gives us another hint. "But those who seek my life, to destroy it, shall go into the lower parts of the earth." According to the King James Version, Ephesians chapter 4 verse 9 mentions that before Jesus ascended into heaven, he also descended into the lower parts of the earth. Some Christians interpret the lower parts of the earth as a reference to hell, where they believe Jesus spent the time between his death and resurrection. The prevailing belief is that hell is inhabited by unimaginably wicked beings, beyond what even the darkest minds can conceive, making it a place one would certainly wish to avoid. However, the mystery of the Earth's interior goes beyond tales of it being the final resting place for departed spirits. Throughout centuries, intriguing myths have fascinated human minds, suggesting that it might host a civilization more advanced than ours. Clues to this can be found in the historical accounts of numerous ancient societies. For instance, the Babylonian hero Gilgamesh ventured to the depths of the earth to visit his ancestor Utnapishtim. In Greek mythology, Orpheus made an attempt to rescue Eurydice from the subterranean realm. Egyptian beliefs included the pharaohs communicating with the underworld through covert tunnels concealed within the pyramids. One of the most renowned tales about subterranean civilizations is that of Agartha. This inner Earth kingdom interconnects every continent worldwide through an expansive tunnel network. The origins of the Agarthan legend can be linked to ancient India before Hinduism, featuring a tale of an island situated in an inland sea north of the Himalayas. This island was said to be inhabited by an extraordinary group of superhuman beings possessing knowledge and wisdom surpassing that of outsiders. Escaping an unspecified disaster, possibly the continental drift that shaped the Earth's surface as we know it today, these beings relocated their island nation underground and established Agartha. The story gained traction when a respected U.S. military pilot, Richard Byrd, meticulously documented his encounter with this advanced subterranean civilization in his private diary. According to his narrative, he had the opportunity to visit this civilization during his expedition to the North Pole on February 19, 1947. During the flight, Byrd detected a minor oil leak in the engine, which coincided with a period of turbulence. As he struggled with the controls to prevent a potential crash, the aircraft unexpectedly entered what seemed to be a cave. Upon emerging from it, the pilot and his team stumbled upon a mountain range they had never seen in their previous North Pole expeditions. What was even more astounding was the presence of green valleys and forests, defying their expectations of encountering only snow and ice. He also made note of the sun's absence, although an unusual light illuminated their surroundings. The team found themselves amidst unusual flora and fauna, some resembling mammoths, which were unfamiliar to them. Richard recounted encountering peculiar flying vehicles, from which human-like beings emerged. These beings were tall, had smooth skin with a subtle blue-green tint resembling the local water bodies. Notably, they sported white hair and wore distinctive attire. The inhabitants utilized wheel-less platforms for transportation and resided in houses made of crystal, forming a city that emitted a mesmerizing play of rainbow hues. It was evident to Byrd that their civilization exceeded our own in the realms of science, culture, and technology. Within India, a long-standing belief endures among some that the depths of the earth are inhabited by an advanced serpent-like civilization known as the Nagas. These beings are said to reside in the cities of Patala and Bhogavati. As the legend goes, they engage in conflict with the kingdom of Agartha. The Nagas represent an immensely advanced species equipped with highly sophisticated technology. Vedic texts provide extensive descriptions of Vimanas, flying machines that navigated the skies. Additionally, Nagas are depicted possessing mystical stones and a third eye located in the center of their foreheads. They harbor a contempt for human beings, reportedly abducting, torturing, interbreeding with, and even consuming them. While the entrance to Bhogavati is believed to be located somewhere in the Himalayas, proponents argue that Patala can be accessed through the well of Sheshna in Benares, India. In addition to these legendary advanced civilizations, there was a period in our history when our ancestors genuinely constructed subterranean cities. Deep beneath the Turkish town of Derinkuyu lies an extensive underground complex reaching a depth of 85 meters. Spread over a vast area and featuring an intricate network of twisting tunnels, Derinkuyu remained lost to history until 1963, when a man stumbled upon a tunnel behind one of his house walls. This subterranean city encompasses 18 stories, housing wells, chapels, stables, schools, and more, with the capacity to accommodate up to 20,000 individuals. Carved into the soft volcanic rock of the Cappadocia region in Turkey, known as Tuf, the creation of this underground city was a remarkable achievement. The complex stands as a remarkable testament to ancient engineering, complete with ventilation shafts, wells, water tanks, and an extensive system of passages and tunnels. The origins and purpose of the city remained a mystery until recently. It is believed that the city was constructed 2,800 years ago during the 8th century BC by the Indo-European Phrygians. The Phrygians were renowned architects during the Iron Age, recognized for their involvement in intricate large-scale construction endeavors. Subsequently expanded during the Byzantine era, it is likely that Christians enlarged it and used it as a sanctuary to evade persecution, a theory supported by the presence of a church on the lowest floor. Even in the 20th century, it served as a refuge to escape persecution during the Ottoman Empire. In recent times, China has embarked on an ambitious endeavor, delving into the construction of two of the world's deepest man-made boreholes, with the goal of reaching a staggering depth of 11,100 meters. These ultra-deep holes surpass the height of Mount Everest, which stands at approximately 8,800 meters from summit to base. Remarkably, the drilling apparatus is designed to endure temperatures of up to 200 degrees Celsius and withstand forces 1,700 times greater than atmospheric pressure. These ambitious projects hold the potential to unveil astonishing revelations about the Earth's enigmatic depths, providing a tantalizing glimpse into the mysteries hidden beneath our very feet. Could they stumble upon the fabled city of Agartha, or even the very existence of hell? Only time will tell. What are your thoughts about this? I hope you like our story. Until the next one.